Okay, bottom line you ask, how much is it going to cost me to sell my house? Today, I'm going to break down the typical closing costs incurred by sellers in North Carolina. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Christina Morris, the realtor in your corner, affiliated with RE/MAX United out of the Raleigh area, and I make videos each week to help buyers and sellers and those hoping to relocate to the Raleigh-Durham area. Most of the time when we hear closing costs, we think closing costs that the buyers pay when they purchase a home. But did you know that there are closing costs that are the responsibility of the seller? Well, let's break down the typical costs that you will incur when selling your home. Now, I'm in North Carolina, so I can only speak to what my experience is here. And what I won't be covering is the cost that you might incur to prepare your home for sale, since that can vary widely depending on the current market area and the condition of your home. So that'll be a subject for a future video. Here you will typically see closing costs that come from 5 different buckets on the closing disclosure. See settlement costs, mortgage payoffs, commissions, seller credits to the buyer, as well as some miscellaneous charges. You're going to have settlement costs. Those are going to be the prorated taxes. And in North Carolina, the tax bills are due in September. So after September, you may have already paid your property taxes. So there will be a credit to you from the buyer on the closing disclosure for their portion of the taxes from closing day until the end of the year. If taxes have not been paid, you will see a debit for your portion of the property taxes that the buyer will have to pay later in the year. Now, HOA dues are also handled the same way, and you may see either a credit or a debit on the closing disclosure for your portion of those HOA dues. And then the next thing on the settlement you'll see are excise taxes, and sometimes called revenue taxes. This is going to be $1 for every $500 of the purchase price. So for example, of a home about $450,000 purchase price, you're going to see about $900 in revenue stamps. Now the second bucket we're going to talk about is the mortgage payoff. This will be the outstanding mortgage balance on your first mortgage and second mortgage, as well as any home equity line of credit that you might have. And lastly, any unpaid repair work done on the property or any outstanding liens, and hopefully you don't have any of those. The third bucket is going to consist of those real estate commissions. And I know sometimes this is a hard pill to swallow, but this is the amount agreed upon in the listing agreement with your agent. So in North Carolina, a typical commission charged by the listing firm is a negotiated amount. The listing firm will share a portion of that commission with your listing agent, as well as the buyer's firm and the buyer's agent. In that fourth bucket, you'll see several miscellaneous fees associated with the closing, including any amounts charged by the attorney handling closing. In North Carolina, a real estate attorney handles all closings. And as the seller, you can use the buyer's attorney, or you can elect to hire one of your own to prepare your closing documents. So those miscellaneous fees are going to be the doc prep fee to the attorney who prepares the deed. That can be anywhere between $150 to $300, depending on the attorney. You're also going to see some courier fees or wire fees used to pay off your mortgage. Usually might see between $25 and $100. And your fifth and final bucket is going to be any of those seller paid closing costs if they've been negotiated. You might see some credits in lieu of repairs. If you purchased home warranty for the buyer, you're going to see that on the closing disclosure there as well. In the market that we're currently in, which is a seller's market, we don't often see too many closing costs paid by the seller. We most often are going to see a very clean offer where a buyer is not going to ask for any of those buyer closing costs paid by the seller. With the help of a solid local realtor, you should be able to get a pretty accurate estimate of exactly what your net proceeds will be at closing. And let's be honest, before you agree to sell your house, this is one of the most important pieces of information that you're going to need. Hopefully this is a simple explanation of typical seller closing costs here in North Carolina, and I hope it's been helpful to you. If you found this information to be helpful or valuable, please go ahead and hit that like button so that will help me to know that I'm putting out the right content and that it was helpful information to those that are watching. Again, I'm Christina Morris, the realtor in your corner. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.